You're listening to the Sales Today podcast, and I'm your host, Fred Copestake. On this podcast, we explore how sales professionals can develop a modern approach to winning business, the application of virtual selling techniques, how to create meaningful business relationships, and much more. Why not take our free collaborative selling scorecard to see how your sales approach suits today's environment? You'll find a link in the show notes. And welcome to this episode of the Sales Today podcast, where I am delighted to be joined by Hanneke Vogels for one in a series of podcasts, a little mini series about selling with tech. Hanneke, welcome.
Thank you.
Looking forward to delving into today. So the premise of the mini series is that sales, we have a process, there's a framework. And we're getting quite a simple one, which is about having the right opportunities, the right research, the right conversation, the right proposal, the right solution, and the right outcomes. And we can use tech to help us with all of those things. Today, we're going to be talking about the right opportunities. So about the right opportunities. So this is about us understanding what an ICP, an ideal customer profile, looks like, how we can then use that to qualify out, making sure we're spending time in the right place, how we can start to build a value proposition, so start to put the message together to earn ourselves the right to talk to people, and go out and sort of kickstart finding new business. So that's what that part of sales is all about. So you're like, let me go, because there's so much tech that can help us do this just a little bit better, faster, more effectively. All of the above.
All of the above, and not just a little bit. I think that in general, organizations are not leveraging tech at all to do their work smarter. And with that, sales is one of the few professions that haven't really been touched by tech or like right now, but I think that tide is changing really fast. So all of these things that you describe from a process level and from a logical way of evolving in sales and doing better, I think that with that, sometimes it can become even a little bit more complex, and you want to like reduce that complexity because not everybody can excel at everything. And tech is really good at doing that. And now with AI, tech has become a whole lot smarter.
A whole lot smarter. So,
Yeah.
so let's we pick those out one by one, and so just a
Mhm.
couple of sort of maybe bits of tech or how you could do something. If we're thinking about developing our ideal customer profile, ideal
Yeah.
client profile, what might we use to sort of do a bit of heavy lifting or help us with that?
Well, one of the things that you'd like to do is find commonalities within your current customer set, right? Because if you can highlight the customers that you really like, that are really good for your company, that are exactly what you like to have, you can use those. You can have um, uh, tools in, like for instance, your CRM, have a look at all of the data and find more correlation between those excellent customers, but also with the add of another tool, sales intelligence is what we call it, like the Apollos, but also Breeze within HubSpot. They can help you identify exactly the same sort of companies, which is like super funny because it took us like forever back in the day to do that, right? So you kind of have an idea about what your customer is, but this tech can find even more correlation and more data points that they share that you can use to find the rest of them.
So is this the one where we think our ideal customer and the people that we sell to are this type?
Mm.
But then when we actually look, we find out it's a completely other type. We're kidding ourselves in that maybe
Well,
that's who
that
we
can
want
happen.
to sell to and we like the idea of selling to them. But actually, these are people buy all our stuff. That's where you would be better using your time.
Well, that's a different discussion, right? So, if you have a ton of customers and you start to look at them and saying, hey, who's actually buying my stuff and who's buying it easily, with the shortest sales cycles and everything, you could end up with another type of customer. Absolutely. That's one analysis you could do. The other one is we know what we want. Find me companies that look like them. Find the lookalikes.
Ah, okay. So you're saying we're using the tech to go and say, I have sold to these companies. Who else is there out there? Go and get
Yeah.
them, bring them to me so I
Yes.
know who I should be spending my time going and talking to. Okay, so that's
Yes.
the Apollo. And what was the HubSpot version called?
Oh, and within HubSpot, you now have Breeze. They took over Clearbit, which was an independent company, which is a sales intelligence tool. So they have all this data, and that's now merged into HubSpot.
Okay, cool. Good. So already, so building lists saying, okay, they're the people we should be talking to. And can we use the tech then to help us refine, define what we should be talking to them about?
Ooh, that's a different question because I think that this is one of the biggest mistakes that we make, and I see it with a lot of B2B companies. We think we're talking about the right stuff when we actually don't really understand what moves our customers or potential customers. So, one of the easiest things that you could do is do some extra research on the world of your customer. For instance, I just did that for one of my customers. It is a quality management system that they're selling to manufacturers, right? So I wanted to know everything about those manufacturers, what their biggest pain points are related to the product, uh, 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 related to the benefits of the product. Like, what are they actually solving? Is this a pain? How do they view the world? How are these pains connected to what's actually happening? What's on the entire agenda? I wanted to see like their whole world instead of like the small part that we're interested in and see how it all correlates and is related to each other. Um, I use ChatGPT for that. It's that simple. You can use the free version even for that. To do some research, you do need to ask these tools to tell you how certain they are about. So I asked for a percentage, and I was asking questions, doing research, ask for URLs to do some back checks, and then all of a sudden, certainty dropped from 86% to 33, and I was like, oh,
When you asked it
I
for
thought I've had
URLs.
like, yes, that happens. So then you know, can I back check it? Is this true? Do I have? But I found so much more research because I didn't have to like form the actual question to Google, but have a conversation about it and dive deeper into stuff. So, one of the tips that I have is when it comes to like actually figuring out what to talk about with clients is do like a deep research within one of the AI tools and then checking it again in real life conversations, bringing that back and that the whole transcription, the whole research, put it all in Claude, which is also a almost free tool, costs 18 euros per month per user, and ask him to help you craft these messages.
Right.
It
Okay,
could
so we're
be,
moving into the next piece, which is we've understood their world so well. So we have to understand that as salespeople, this is our job. This is a human thing.
yeah, this
All the
is a
tech in the world can't help you if you don't realize that that is what is going
yeah,
to set you apart. But when you get it, it's at your fingertips. I like perplexity for that one because it gives you the links straight away.
yeah,
You
works
don't
too.
have to make it prove itself. I still find that's funny. And then you're saying, right, now we've got a whole bunch of stuff, and you're going and using the human again to go and talk, and then to put some of that stuff in from the horse's
Transcriptions
mouth,
in.
and now saying, right, let's have a look at what these people are going to care about, and let's start to build a value proposition around that.
Yeah,
Value, as in,
yeah,
this is what they care about. The proposition
yeah.
bit's easy.
And
The
this is how we
value
are
bit.
connected to that. This is pain gains. This is ROIs. This is the time it takes to implement it and how we implement it. You can even like the whole buyer's journey can be like found within this way of working.
Cool. So the transcription. So let's just name some of the text. So if people are thinking, oh, that sounds quite cool, I don't have to do that. we're recording Zoom, we're putting it into something like, well,
Well, Zoom and
Descript, or
Teams don't
it does it,
require
does it,
anything
yeah,
else.
does it? It does it automatically. Of course it does. God, I'm old-fashioned. I take it out of that and put it in something else.
Yeah, because you also have like these note takers, right? But for this, you don't really need that because you want the full transcription and feed it to a large language model and say, hey, what do you make of this?
What do you make of this? Help me get my head around it because I want to serve
Yeah.
this customer. What do they care about? And so you're talking about the whole customer there. What about if you're thinking, I'm talking to FDs?
Yeah.
I'm not very good at talking to FDs. I don't really know what they care about. I could talk to
Yeah.
engineers all day. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
talk to other salespeople till the cows come home. FDs, though, have got this weird different language and they're trying
No,
to
but
do different
financials
things.
always have a different language than salespeople. So I really admire everybody diving into that world, but that's needed, right? So you can not only do about companies, but also about a specific contact person. And you can even go further depending on the stakeholders that you might have within your sales cycle.
Yeah. I run a little sequence often, just talking, just asking, because the
Mhm.
conversational prompts are good now. And I'll just say, what is the role of the finance director? Say, what are their aims? What are their KPIs? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Right, that's going to help me already because I might not know. Then I do the act as. I'll tell the
Yeah.
AI that that's who it is. Tell me what your pressures are.
Yeah.
Tell me the impact of those pressures. Tell me your desires. So warm it up a little bit, give myself the understanding, then get it telling me so that I can go to the conversation or can feed that into the value proposition creator because we've really understood what they're bothered about, what they care about, what they want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. Um, so it helps with the ICP in this particular
Mm.
area. It's going to help us then find the potential business, so
Yeah.
Apollo, etc. We can understand them better than ever before, faster than ever before. I mean, really, so much so. Um, and then we're going to start to qualify as well. So
Mhm.
can we be using the tech to qualify?
Oh, yes.
Oh, is this a good one?
Oh, yes. One of my favorite parts, just not just for qualifying, you can even qualify, we always qualify leads, right? But
Well, that's a big assumption.
well,
We
we
should be always.
should, but it doesn't always happen. No, you can take that apart, right? You can put target scores in where you'd say, hey, how good does this person within that company match my ICP? That gives you a target score. You can also add things like engagement, where people visited your website or had some social interactions with you on, for instance, LinkedIn, or read your emails, or you can like all get that back as much as you like want or like. Put that in your CRM. You can even score that. And then in total, after your first discovery with this person, you gathered a lot of information. I really advise everybody just to put it in their CRM. It doesn't have to be more complicated than just a couple of qualifying fields. And with that, you can add a qualifying score. Like, if your qualification is on, I don't know, band, works for me, works for simpler things. You can just don't put like, do they have any budget, but say like have like a drop down of two or three, maybe three or four answers that score individually. And in total, you get a number. And then you can like refer it even further, saying it's a red, it's a orange, or it's a green, saying how good this one actually is. And if it's a red, you can have a look at, why is it red? Why is it not working for me? Why is my qualification off? Or because I thought it was good, but it turns out it wasn't good enough. What's happening here? You can learn from this. And also the system can learn from it, because then you go back to that same tool where you found your ICP with. Over time, if you keep doing this, you will find so much more information about, hey, if this specific thing happens, or if we see that, it's a no-go. We already know it's not going to happen. Or we think it doesn't work, but they buy anyway. This is like a green light and not a red light. So you also learn back from your own data. And if you just make it easy to fill it in your CRM while you're having that conversation or right after, you really, really get more data. You can do sales more data driven, but you can also um, run after the deals that are way more promising.
because it's flagged up earlier, and so you're then using that like a sports person might have, the sort of the sensors, all the kind of watches and all this sort of thing to give them feedback of how to perform better. Your human performance is going to be better because that data's coming in.
Because you put it in. So you
Yeah,
really
yeah.
think about it. So that's like and qualifying is, maybe that's even a funny thing. For me, qualifying is not something you do once. It could even be like progressing over time. Like if you're working on a lead for a long time, you can see it grow. You can see what leads have been growing fast on engagement or anything else.
So early in the process, we might have a go, no go, as in just stop now, disqualify, don't waste your time, go and do something else.
Hmm.
But if we're keeping feeding this in, this green is going amber. Oh, hang on a minute, it's turned red. What's happened here? Well, as you're putting this information in, it's telling you, don't. It's
Yeah.
not good. Whereas kind of the sort of the positivity, natural positivity that I'm spending more time with them, I'm getting close to them, I'm understanding them better. We get this false sense of, I don't know, success, if you like, that we're going to be better. But actually, the stuff you're saying and what we're putting in here, based on past performance, no good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Um, let's just cover very quickly, and this is probably a podcast series in itself, the outreach piece that we will need to do at this. So
That's that's a podcast series on its
uh,
own.
and then there's some experts. So I mean, there's experts all kind of around emails and how you can warm up emails and kind of do the emailing side. What other tech would one be considering? We won't talk about exactly how, but what other stuff might we just think of?
I think that in a world where salespeople are so loud, marketing people are so loud, you need to stand out.
Hmm.
So, and they need to see you a couple of more times. So it's more personal than ever, funny enough, with all the tech. That's why personal branding works very well. So salespeople who are very active on LinkedIn usually have a bigger pipeline than others that don't. But it's a combination. I think that you need to pop up everywhere and then not in a sequence like every 3 days or even shorter intervals in one mailbox, but just adding value at certain points in time. And then all of a sudden, once they start showing some sort of intent, you dive into it. That's different where we push a lot, but I think that with tech, you're capable of wheeling them in carefully, step by step. The only thing it requires is patience, and that's the one thing that we usually don't have as sales. So I always advise, okay, so if you don't have the time to be patient, if you don't have the luxury to be patient, start doing more. And that's where tech helps. So it's not about one tool and one way of outreach. It's about all of them. It's about that call. It's about that email. It's about a newsletter that they receive. It's that social post that they see from you. It's a DM or maybe even WhatsApp where you like there's touches, and you
Yeah.
provide value constantly until they show a sign of intent, and then you really start helping.
Yeah, it's interesting that that was the route you took because I'm quite strong opinion on this as well. In that the sort of the tech people have felt more. That's what's made it louder and not any better, really. And you said, well, no, actually, we could use the tech to be more of us. So it's a video. I mean, I'm a big fan of
Yeah,
video. Why?
yeah.
Because it's me speaking. And you can see me, you can hear me. Yeah.
Do you
So
know how valuable it is to send a DM saying, "Hey, I ran into this article, made me
mm,
think of you and what you told me last time." Funny thing is that you could just like totally automate that. You could just it's it's still genuine if you know that you have a real specific niche within your target
Mm.
group. You're like, oh, this is interesting for them, and you can just like filter them out and send it to them. And you don't have to send 50 messages by hand. You could just toss it into a machine that does that for you. But that constant touch of you being nice, you giving them something that is actually valuable to them is not as half as intrusive as sending a pitch through email.
Excellent. Okay, so intelligent use of tech.
Yes.
This is going to be a theme throughout the series. So idea was to keep these short and sweet, 15 minutes, which is pretty much what we've got to straight away. Um, if people want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
On LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn. Yeah, putting a lot out there, being valuable. Same with me as well. Our profiles are in the show notes. So until next time, where we will be talking about, again, using the tech, but in this case, to get deeper into doing the right research. I hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, reach out to us. Let us know what you're taking away from it.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Today podcast with me, your host, Fred Copestake. I hope you've enjoyed what you heard today. If you did, please get in touch and hit subscribe. And remember, you can take the collaborative selling scorecard for free to check out how your sales approach works in today's environment. You'll find it in the show notes.